We met at the hospital because Tom came to work at the hospital, and I had just graduated from nursing school and was working in the emergency room, which was a tiny little emergency room over on Walnut Street, St. Joseph's Hospital. And Tom came to work there, and he was working for Dr. Cornfield using oxygen equipment. He would come to ER to test his equipment, and he would ask me out, and I would say no, because I was 21, I just graduated from nursing school. He was only 19, I was not going out.
Yeah, I had just graduated from high school from Lancaster Catholic maybe a year before, and I didn't go to college. My parents couldn't afford to send me to college. So I was looking for a job, and through a connection from my aunt, who was a nun, she knew a nun at the hospital and found out that there was a job opening. And so I went over and applied for the job, and that's how I got to be working there, even though I had no, hospital background or anything. So that's how we initially got together. We are mutual friends at one point. She's tried to set me up with another girl. In fact, she arranged a double date for us with a girl who had worked at the hospital, and actually who I had known from Lancaster Catholic. She was a classmate. But I really wanted to go out with Marty, but anyway, I agreed to go on this double date. We went to the drive-in. I forget where we went.
I went with one of the anesthesia students.
So I was in the back seat with this other girl, and she and one of the anesthesia students was in the front seat. And so we kind of went through that awkward evening, and she was not happy because there was not much going on in the back seat.
The back seat was pretty dead back there.
And then after that, I don't know how long after that, one of our friends invited me to go to her apartment to play cards. They were going to have a group to play cards together. And I thought, oh, well, sure, that would be great. So, like I said, it was going to be at her apartment. Well, it turned out I was the first one to arrive.
And my roommate, Sandy, said, I'm going up to the Dell for cigarettes. We were living right there on West Chestnut Street. I'll be right back. But she never came back.
And nobody else
showed
either.
up.
So it was just the two of us there. And of course, this had all been prearranged.
Neither of us knew anything about it. I mean, neither of us were in on it. But
so after we figured out that nobody else was coming, I asked her if she just wanted to go out and get something to eat. So
we went out to the Wheatland.
What was the Wheatland Diner? It's now
Lancaster Diner
the Columbia
or something?
Diner.
Columbia Diner, but it's on Columbia Avenue.
Same as it did then.
Yeah, it does.
Uh,
I don't know, after the first, when I took time to talk to him, which I hadn't taken any time to talk to him before this, we had a lot in common and similar backgrounds. I went to Bishop McDevitt, he went to Lancaster Catholic, and so, and then we just started seeing each other, and then we knew. And we only knew each other 3 months before we got married. Probably camping or...
Yeah, we've always enjoyed camping.
We always took the children camping in a tent. We didn't have much.
We were getting ready for this. We were trying to think of how we would kind of describe our life together. And one word that came to me was adventure.
But we've been to China, Australia, of course Europe, Rome, England, Wales, Ireland, Switzerland, Canada, cruises in the Caribbean, cruises in the Mediterranean, cruises in Alaska. We've been in all but I've been in all but 4 states.
But most of that has happened later in
life, yeah.
marriage. Not while we were raising children,
Yeah, we went to Disney World and those places when the kids were little, yeah.
Okay.
But even without that, I think we've had, a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
We moved a lot during our first 5 years of marriage. I think we moved 5 times during our first 5 years.
That always
Some
was
of those moves were very
Adventurous.
adventuresome.
in snowstorms and yeah.
And of course, raising kids is an adventure.
I don't know. People ask us that many times.
I don't know. I would say, don't be afraid to make a commitment. Love, when you're in love with someone, it's not only a feeling, it's a decision.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That is true.
You decide to love that person, and you make a vow that you're going to love that person. And that's what you do.
That's true. We're going to Key West, I told you. That's on my bucket list, to go to the Dry Tortugas. And the one other thing that we've never gotten around to doing that we really would like to do is a river cruise on the Danube. Yeah, so maybe that'll happen.
And we still have our camper, so we
Oh yeah, we have a
a
travel trailer.
travel trailer, yeah.
Yeah, that we're in a lot. We've been across the country twice. Once with our youngest granddaughter. We took her out west and back. That was a wonderful adventure. Yeah, she was wonderful.